class, emerging technology, and class notes. Okay, your emerging technology videos will be over here. Clear? Your masterclass videos will be over here, which is 12:30 to 1:30 class is there. Those videos are over here. Those videos are over here. Okay, and these are the class notes. Some notes sir has uploaded. Okay, I will show it again. It is Python Masterclass BE 2020 batch 3. In that there are 3 folders, right? So I want you to check it. How many of you take 2 minutes? Okay, take 2 minutes. Kindly check it and tell me how many of you do not have access to it. Okay. Kindly check it once and then only type it. I will just note it down. I'm just noting it down. Avinash, are you in a position to view the emerging technology and the masterclass videos? First check it. See, I will again show you what you're supposed to get. You're supposed to get this particular drive in which there are 3 folders: masterclass, emerging technology. Just check whether you have it. I'll keep this on the screen so that you can view it. Masterclass, emerging technology. Abhishek Kumar, which are the folder? Kindly type the folder name. Avinash and Abhishek, what are the folder name you are seeing? No, Abhishek. See, I'm not talking about the batch one. I'm not talking about the batch 156. I'm talking, I think you're not listening to me. I'm asking whether this particular folder is available to you. Python Masterclass BE 2020 batch 3. In that, there are 3 folders: Masterclass, Emerging Technology, and Class Notes. This is about the Sushil sir folder. Is it visible to you? It is not about batch 156. Batch 156 status I have already taken. Okay, so fine. I noted it down. Okay. So this has to be this will be done by tomorrow. Okay, by tomorrow lecture, you should be having access to by tomorrow morning, you should be having access to Sushil sir's lecture videos as well as the emerging technologies videos. Okay, got it. Almost the entire class doesn't have access to it, so I'll get it done. Okay, so 3 status I have taken till now. Laptop. Okay, so get laptop and PC. Batch 156, except for two students, it is visible. Okay, I'll get it done. Batch 3. Okay, you cannot, Sanchit, you cannot download the videos. Point number 1, you can only view the videos. Okay, download option permissions are not given to you. You can only and only view it. Point number 3, I will provide the access to Sushil sir's masterclass and emerging technology video. 3 things. Okay. Fourth, all of you type codingninjas.com. All of you type codingninjas.com. All of you type codingninjas.com. Okay, you have to type codingninjas.com. Then you click on the login. Then you click on the login. Okay, then type your email ID. Then type your email ID. It will ask you for the OTP, right? So somewhere in the another tab, open your Gmail. In this particular mail, you should be having your OTP. OTP and you should be in a position to log in. Type OTP and you should be in a position to log in. I'll give you 2 minutes. Everyone do this activity. Then my questions will start. Okay, now let me come to the meet. Once you are logged in, just type done. Once you are logged in, just type done, so that I know you have completed a particular process. Anyone struggling to log in? You can type it from the Divanshu, you can try it from this one, your phone. I'll wait for some moment. Okay. Now everyone pay attention. This is important. What you have to do? You have to go to the My Classroom. You have to click on My Classroom. You have to click on My Classroom. Don't click anywhere on top over here. Coding Ninja, codes and events, my opportunities. Do not click anywhere. You have to click on My Classroom. In the My Classroom, you should be having problem solving in Python Chitkara University course. Okay, this particular course should be visible to you. Problem solving in Python Chitkara University. Problem solving in Python Chitkara University. You should have this particular course. Do not type anything. Do not type anything. Just wait. Okay, there will be multiple questions coming now. Okay, why I told you to check whether this course is visible to you? Because if you click on this enter badge, what should happen? This topic should be visible to you. Flowchart, introduction to Python, conditional and loops, patterns, pattern 2, more on loops, function, array, two-dimensional strings and tuples and dictionary. This is the end of your course. And after that, there will be a test such as ST1, FA1, FA2, something like that. Okay. So now I'm coming to you. Okay. Listen to my question very carefully. Batch 156. Batch 156. This course is visible to you. How many students are there for whom this particular course is visible? Batch 156. Batch 156 only. Okay. Is this visible? So let me. Do not type those who are not visible. Only type. Listen to my question. I said only those who have this course visible as 156. Kindly type yes. Those for them whose not is visible, do not type anything. And for them, for batch 145 it is visible, do not type. Do not type. Okay, you do one thing. In the chat window, type 156 yes. You type 156 yes. Pranjal, listen to my instruction. Do not type anything. I just said for those who 156 course is visible, only they should type yes, so that I'm getting the status. So I'll repeat it. Abhinav Sharma, Abhishek Kumar, Avinash Kumar, Atinder Mishra, Aman Khan, Divyanshu Suraj, Aditya, Garvit, Himanshi, Akshit, sorry, Himanshi, Akshit, okay, I have skipped out Akshit. Akshit, Abhishek Kumar, what is the name of that particular course? Type the name of the course, Abhishek. And if you click on it, are you in a position to see this particular courses? Are you in a position to see this module? Flowchart, introduction to Python, conditional, pattern 1, pattern 2, loops, function, arrays, searching, sorting, two-dimensional strings, and it should end with tuples, dictionary, and set. No, that means you do not have the codes with you. No, 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 no. Kindly pay attention. This is a lecture 3 will not be visible to you. There is a others are locked because there is a timeline. There is a timeline. So it will be open for a week. After that, second will be open, then third will be open, then fourth will be open. See, there is a timeline. You might have check out the timing of the third module. Others are locked because you have not completed the previous one. Once you complete it, once 1 week is over, then only they will open the other one. They won't open everything because they want you to concentrate on it and do it. Okay, point number 1. The student for which who had transferred from other section and it is visible the old one, for example 144 or 145, your course is visible as 144 or 145, so that I will have to get it transferred to 156. All the students for which 144 or 145 is visible, kindly type your section, either 144 or 145. I just said students who have got 144 or 154, in that the course is visible, only those students should type the course name 144 or 145. Okay, noted, Tanmay. Okay. Now the students who have not got access, once they log into the Chitkara University, once you log into the Coding Ninja using Chitkara University email, that particular course is not visible for them. Those students, they type it now. Student names for whom Coding Ninja course is not visible. दिव्यांशु, आपको कोडिंग निंजा में कोई भी कोर्स नजर नहीं आ रहा है क्या? Okay. So let me take it as Divyanshu, Isha, Avinash. I will just check your status. Okay. It is visible but locked. Yeah, I got it. One church. Abhinav Thakur, Muskan, Aditya, Pranjal, Akarsh, Abhinav. Okay. Now, Avinash, let's take your case. When you log in and click on this particular module flowchart, when you click on this, just click on this and go on the left hand side and go on the left hand side. Now click on this. So what should happen when I click on this? The video should be played. Okay, the video should be played. This is the explanation they are providing. Since I have gone through it, otherwise you will get something like this. This video will continuously run. Clear? So my question is, Avinash, is it opening? Abhinav, Himanshi, just click on it and check. Okay. So for the students who have not got it, I will work on it and see that you will get it ASAP as early as possible. Okay. Otherwise, your learning mechanism is something like this. Kindly attend the Sushil sir classes and go through these videos. Point number one. Okay. I will see that the videos are made available to you by tomorrow so that you can go through it. what will be my role is to guide you for the logic building. Okay, logic building is something where I should be making you strong in the coding. So what are my expectation from you is, my expectation from you is you will be going through this particular video. If you see this, it is the videos. Okay, 1 2 3, these are the videos. Then we have the question over here. Okay, what it is saying is you have to draw a flow chart for finding the average of the three numbers. Okay, so if this is not a coding, what they are saying is you draw it in the notebook. So you can draw it in the notebook. After that, you have to go through this particular window, sorry, particular videos. Okay, you have to complete this entire process. Okay, you have to complete this entire process. Those who have access to it should go through these particular videos and go through the assignment. Clear? In case you get stuck, okay, just try it for 24 hours. If you do not get the solution, kindly tell me so I can explain it so that you could try it. You could try it. So is the mechanism clear to you? If it is not, you have to click it, go through each and every video, solve those particular assignments. Okay. If you look over here, you have to click on the topics. Okay, you have to click on the topics. When you click on the topics, it will take you to something called as a flow chart out over there. Okay, once you see, if you look over here, the weightage, it is 0 because it is all about drawing the flow chart on the paper. Once you have completed that, then you will be in a position to relate to my lectures which I have been taking. Introduction to Python. Introduction to Python. Okay, so here what happens is you will get this video. You will get this video. Okay, so if you click on this, this will be a 10 minutes video. They have taken Jupyter Notebook and explain all the coding examples. Okay, right? Should you skip it? No, you shouldn't skip it because this is for additional learning. Then the instruction, and then the output question, and then the output. So now it says predict the output. Okay, it says predict the output. One moment. So there will be a question associated over here. There will be 4 options given to you. Okay, and if you get it right, you will get 10 out of 10 marks. Clear? So what is the following code segment print? Print career, print labs. Okay, so what you should do? You should check it out. This is the print, this is the print. That means output will come on the next line. So I will select career labs in the next line. Okay, once you click on this, you can click on the submit. Then there is a variable. Okay, you have to go through this particular video again and then try to attempt this MCQ. A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, multiple is equal to A into B, print multiple. Okay, print multiple. Kindly note this multiple is in double quotes. Okay, kindly note this is in double quotes. Since this is in double quote, what you should get? You should get the message multiple. If I remove the double quote, then what you should get? A into B, which is 10 into 20, which should give me as 200. Let's have a look at the next question. A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, multiple is equal to A into B. So what you should get? Print multiple. So this should give me 200. Okay. Then there is a data type. Okay. Then there is a data type. You should go through this particular video. Fine. Then there is a Python variable name. Then it asks a question. See, if you remember, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. Yes or no? The left hand side was a variable name. So now it is asking which are the valid variable names. Select the correct variable name. Is this valid? Yes. Is this valid? Yes. This is not valid. Why it is not valid? Because the variable name should start with the character or underscore. It is starting with the number. So it cannot be right. It cannot be right. Is this valid? Underscore variable 1? Yes, it is valid. So what are the rules for the variable name? What are the rules for the variable name? One moment. Let me. Come to your chat window. So these are the rules for the variable name. A variable name must start with a letter or underscore. A variable name cannot start with the number. Variable name can contain only alphanumerical characters and underscores such as AZ09 and underscore. Variable names are case sensitive. That means age lowercase, capital AGE and capital AJE. All three are different. That means if I give age equal to 10, age equal to 20 and age equal to 30, all these three will be treated as three different variable even though they are age, because one is lowercase, another is uppercase, another is starting with the capital, another one is starting with the capital. Okay, let's go back. Then there is another MCQ. What is the result of the following code in Python? X is equal to 10, X is equal to ABCD. Then I'm saying print X. So what should be printed? 10 or ABCD? It should be 10. It should be 10. No. What happens is X is 10. Then when I say X is equal to ABCD, 10 was overwritten with ABCD. So you will get it as ABCD. Clear? Then come to the next MCQ. So all this you should try it on your own. And if you get stuck, then you should ask me in my regular time 10:30 to 12:30. So I'll be clearing your doubts over here. X is equal to ABCD, X is equal to 10. What is the type of X after the following code executes? Okay. What is the type of X after the code executes? So what should happen? It should give me as int. It should give me as int. Okay. Why? Because initially X was storing a string ABCD. Then X is storing 10. That means what is the latest value? 10. So it should give me as integer. Okay. Then go through this video Python number and then again click on this, check for equality. Okay. Now let's have a look at this. A is equal to 10, ID1 is equal to IDA. That means what is ID gives me? ID gives me the address. ID gives me the address of the variable. That is assigned to ID1. That is assigned to ID1. Then I say B is equal to A plus 2 minus 2. So A is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 minus 2 is 10. So what it is asked, then assign ID of B to ID of 2. And then it is asking whether ID1 and ID2 have the same variable. Now for this, I would like to go to my explanation and explain it to you. Let's go to into lecture 1. I guess over here. Okay. Pay attention. That particular ID concept. What is the purpose of ID? The purpose of ID is display memory address. That means where in the memory it is stored. So I say A is equal to 10 and print ID A. So what should print ID do? Print ID should give me the address. One moment, let me mute it. I'm getting a call. Okay, so let me take you to ID. Then I say B is equal to ID, print ID. Okay. Then what I do? Then I say B is equal to 20, print ID. Then again I say b is equal to b minus 10, that is 20 minus 10, and again print id. Okay, and let me comment this out and let me explain the concept of a id. Okay, is a thousand. What is b? 1,000. Let's say print id a, and then I say print id b. So what it should give me? It should give me the address of a. It should give me the address of b. Okay, perfectly fine. Let me run this. So when I run this, I get the address. Okay. So somewhere around 2 billion or something, it will give me the address. Let's concentrate on the last 2 or 3 digit. It is 568. It is 112. Are they same? They are not same. A is storing the value 1000. B is storing the value 1000. That means A's address is 7568. B's address is 8112. They are different. They are different. So I say print ID A should give me this. Print ID B should give me this. Clear? But a strange thing happens when I do something like this. Pay attention. I'm repeating it again. A is 1000, B is 1000. They both are having the same value. When I print ID1 and ID2, what it says, they are stored at 2 different locations. They are stored at 2 different locations. Clear? But when I take a lower value such as A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 5, and then I say print ID A and print ID B, let's see what happens. Strange thing happens over here. See, A is 10, I print ID of A. What is ID of A? 4096. Then I say B is equal to 10, then I say print ID B. So what it will print? It will print 4096. Clear? That means what is Python telling me that if you have the variable from minus 10 to 255, Python is going to cache it in the memory, because normally why you use this particular variable? To use a loop, yes or no, or to compare the condition. So it says that if 2 or multiple variables are storing the same value, those values for will be stored at one single location, That means if I have something like this, C is equal to 10, and then I print this, I should get the same address. See, 4096, 4096, 4096. If you take all this into consideration, their address are exactly same. So the Python philosophy is, if you are using a very low value, Python optimizes it, and what will happen? It will be storing it at the same location. Clear? C, but if I want to change the value, C is equal to C plus 1. If I do something like this and I print the ID, will it be at the same location? Because now C is 11. Let's check it. Okay. One moment. Pay attention. This is a 4096. B is 10, same as a 4096. C is equal to 10, same as AB, 4096. Then I say C is equal to C plus 1, take 10, add 1 to it, becomes 11. Now it is not stored at the same location. It will be stored at a different location. And that different location is 4128. Clear? 4128. Understood? So my note will be something like this. In Python, small integers in the range minus 5 to 256, the ID will be the same. The ID will be the same. I'll add it. In Python, small integers in the range -5 to 256, ID is going to remain the same. So if you have an integer between this, the ID is going to remain the same. If we increment it, decrement it, change it, obviously you're going to get a different ID. But let's continue with our discussion. Now B is 20. Okay, now B is 20. So obviously you should get a different ID. And then I'm again saying 20 minus 10. So 20 minus 10 is 10. Again, you should go and give me the same ID. Let's check it. Let's check it. 10, 10, 10. That means A, B, C should be having the same address. Are they having the same address? Yes. Then I say C is equal to C plus 1. Yes or no? So C's address should change. Yes, the address has changed. Clear? Then what I do? Then I say B is equal to 20. So obviously B's address should change. Yes, it changes. Okay. Then I say B is equal to B minus 10. That means now B is again 10. And where we have the 10, we have it over here. So is this address same as the first one? Yes. Are with me? So the address of A and the address of B will be same since they are storing the same value. Since they are storing the same value. But if you take a value greater than the range which I have specified, okay, something like this, if you have specified a range greater than this, then they will be stored at a different location. Then they will be stored at a different location. Okay. If you see over here, this is 1000, this is 1000, it will be 7376, 76632. Clear? So kindly note, Python addresses can be captured by using something called as ID. The small integer in the range -5 to 256 have got the same address. Anything less than -5 or greater than 256 is going to have a different IDs, even if they have the same value. Is it clear to you? Okay. Now then, with that particular background, tell me what will be the answer of this. Will ID and ID2 will have the same address or not? All of you kindly go through it for a minute or so. Kindly use a pen and paper and try checking your understanding. Will the ID2 and ID of the B will be the same? Yes. Why? Because the value both are storing is 10 and the 10 is between -5 and 255. Hence it will show me the same answer. Okay, so very interesting questions are there in the Coding Ninja. I'll try to get it ASAP. Then you have got two more videos, limit of integers and arithmetic operators. Okay. Then again the output question. What will be print 17 divided by 10? It's an integer division. So 17 divided by 10 will be 1. Then If I say 17 divided by single slash, then what will happen? You will get the answer with decimal places. So you will get 1.7. Clear? Then there is a video over here taking input. So you have to go through this and then output question. A is equal to input, B is equal to input, C is equal to A plus B. Okay. What it is saying is if the user enter 40 and the user enters 57, what will be A plus B, which we learned it in the first or second lecture by saying that when I say print C, what it should give me 4057. Why? Because it is taken as a string. It is taken as a string. Then I say A is equal to int input, B is equal to int input, C is equal to A plus B. So what it should give me? The integer value 40, the integer value 57. So it should give me 97 because there is an int over here. So it should give me 97. Then the next output, what will be the output if you enter A, B, C and D, E, F? Kindly note we have said int. Okay, kindly note we have said int, but we are entering a string. In that case, you will get a value error. For example, see, I did it over here. A is equal to int input, B is equal to int input, print A plus B. Okay, so let's type A as 10 and B as 20. So what we get? 30. Let's run it again. Let's enter ABC. The moment I enter ABC, what will happen? It will give me value error. Let's run it again. Let's enter 10. We'll accept it. Let's enter ABC. What will happen? You will get value error. You cannot add 10 with ABC. You cannot add 10 to ABC because it's an integer over here. That's why it is giving this value error. Okay. Then is Coding Ninja providing you the coding questions? Yes. Now, how actually the coding is done, I'll tell you. Okay. This will be the question statement. This will be the heading. Then it will ask a question. Write a program to input marks of 3 tests of a student, then calculate and print the average of all the marks. Okay. Then input it says 3 test marks in a different line. In a different line. Output format, we should display the average. Then they will explain this. For example, if I enter 3, 4, 6, what should be the sample? The sample should be so and so. Then they will give one more sample. If I enter something like this 5, 10, 5, then what you will get? You will get the sample output as so and so. Okay? You have to take some time and understand the question and understand the test cases. This is sample input 1, this is sample output 1, this is sample input 2, this is sample output 2. Okay? And then what I'm going to do? I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on this. Okay? Now, if I click on this, I have to type a program. Now, what does the question says? Now, this window will expand. It says you should accept the marks in all integers. There is a hint. It is a all integer. You have to accept the marks in 3 different lines. So, obviously, I will need this. A is equal to int input, B is equal to int input, and C is equal to int input. Okay. Then what we need to do? We need to find the sum. Is it compulsory that sum should be written in lowercase, uppercase, lowercase? You could write it in any case, but normally we write it in lowercase. Okay. So what I do, I find the sum. Then what I do, I display the average. I display the average by saying AVG. Fine. I calculate the average as sum divided by 3. Can you combine this? Can you skip this and directly say A plus B plus C in the bracket divided by 3? Yes, I can do it. Print the average. Okay. Now that you have written the code, okay, what you should do? You should scroll over here. You should scroll over here. Copy this. Copy this sample input. Click on the custom input. Click on the custom input. In the custom input, now paste it. In the custom test case, is this. Okay? Click on execute. If you click on the execute, okay, it says sum divided by 3, sum is not defined. Why we are getting error? Because I wrote sum in lowercase, you wrote sum in capital. So I told you that lowercase as well as uppercase or the different case will be treated as different. So this and this is not matching and it is giving me the name error. So what you have to do, you have to go back, make the changes. Okay, and then again execute it. You made the changes, execute it. Okay, so you get the answer in green, saying that your program is running very well for the first test case. Let's go to the problem and take the second test case, 5, 10, 5. Copy it and again click on the custom input. Paste it over here and execute it. You click on execute, what is happening? Your program is executed for this particular input and it will check whether the result is right or wrong. Your result is right. Okay, so will you get full marks? Let's check it. Then you have to click on the submit solution. When you click on the submit solution, now what has happened is this particular company Coding Ninja, their developers have written the 6 test cases. That means your program should run for the different test cases. Okay, they have written the 6 test cases. Is this test case visible to you? No. Okay, so coding is done in this fashion. A problem statement will be given. You have to write a code. 1 or 2 sample test cases will be given to you, and your program should be in a position to satisfy the hidden test case. Why it is hidden? So that they may take a small value, they may take a large value, and check whether your program is running or not. Okay, this is how the placement takes place. When any company comes and takes your placement test, okay, always their test cases will be hidden and they will be taking the edge case. Edge cases means a rather large value or the small value, and it will check whether your program is running or not with a time constraint. For example, if I tell you, in case you need to sort the data from the mobile where there may be 500 or 600 entries, your program will run well. But what they will do now, they'll provide a very large value, such as a population of India, and they will then check whether you are in a position to write a program that will sort the last data. For that, what knowledge should be there? The knowledge of data structure should be there, okay, which you'll be learning in the second year, So based on how much data we have to handle, we'll have to use a different structure. Is it clear? That's why it is called a data structure. So coding, data structures, and some other model will make you a great programmer. But right now, our topic is logic building. Our topic is logic building. Is this concept clear to you? When I was giving a test, I was in a position to see the test cases. Yes, they have hidden some test cases that were not visible to you. Okay, some test cases will be hidden that will not be visible to you, and they'll be validating your code over there. Okay, but that's how it works. Okay, so you understood now actually that the program has to be first tested with the custom test cases, and then this model Atinder will open only when you complete the flow chart. So complete the flow chart. Okay, this particular model, you can't skip and jump to a particular model. Sir, in Coding Ninja, if you don't know the question, can you skip the coding question? No, I'm there for you. So in case you get stuck, you have to ask me tomorrow. The release date is given as 5th November. Before 5th November, you cannot open it. I have access to all the codes. I will show it to you. Don't worry, Sanchit. I have completed this particular course. I have it. So don't worry. You'll be in a position to open it only after 5th November. Any other question? Let's see one more question so that you get an idea how the coding is done. Let's go back. Now that if all the test cases are there, you should be getting your best score should be 100. Okay. Go back over here and you have been given a question now. What is this question? It says find x raised to power n. You are given two integers x and n. You have to calculate x raised to power n and print it. You are given two integers x and n, and you have to calculate x raised to power n. That means if x is 2, let's come down first. Let's understand what they are saying. So they are telling that the maximum value x value will be between 1 and 100. See, they are telling the constraints. X value will be between 1 and 100. That means x value cannot be more than 100. They are taking care of it. Then the second value of the integer, that means, for example, if I enter x as 10, then n will be minimum 1 and less than 10. How do you know it? It says 1 less than equal to n less than equal to 10. That means the value of n will be between 1 and 10. Okay, what should be the sample input? Sample input should be 10 4. What is 10 now? 10 is x. What is n? It is 4. So what should be my answer? 10 raised to 4. And how we can find it? It's very simple. What you do? You say x is equal to int input, n is equal to int input. Then you write power is equal to x into n. Is it compulsory that I should write power? No, you could give any name. You could say a is equal to x into n. And then you use the same variable over here. Yeah? Let's take this case, then 4. Then copy it into the custom input. Click over here, paste it, click on execute. When you click on execute, what should happen? Either you will get a right answer or wrong answer. You are getting a right answer over here, right? Do we have any other test case over here? No, we don't have a test case. So what I will do now, I'll click on the submit. I will click on the submit. Okay. I'll click on the submit. So what will happen? It will say all the 6 cases, hidden cases are true. So you will get a score of 100. Okay. Now, some of the questions will have something like solution over here. If you see over here, there is a solution. If you click on that particular solution, it will provide you a dialog box saying that if you view the solution, you are going to lose all your marks for this question. Okay, so if you click on this solution, you will be losing 100% of the marks. Okay, understood? If you want to see the solution, you can see the solution. But the moment I click on the view solution, what will happen? The solution will be visible. This is C++ solution, there is a Python solution. Okay, so they have taken this as a solution. So if you copy this and try to paste it over here, you will not get any marks. Why? Because you have opened the solution and seen their solution, so you will get 0 marks. So see that you do not click on this particular solution. You do not click on this particular solution. Clear? The next is arithmetic progression. Okay. I'm showing the question to you. Try to understand this question on your own. 2 minutes, go through the question. It is 41 by 43. You have to till 43, you have to go through it. Then I will scroll down. Now let me scroll down and display the sample input and output. This is a sample input, this is the sample output. Go through it for a minute and then I'll ask the question. Okay, so let's check some of the inputs. Have you understood the codes? Sanchit, you, at some point of time, you will need a PC or the laptop to give the test. I hope you understand. This is just a temporary measure that you are doing it on the phone. Okay, kindly use a URL, login and try to see it because I also haven't checked it on the phone. For that, Avinash, I won't be in a position to help you, okay, regarding 1.5 GB a day. You'll have to work out some solution. Okay, is the question clear to you? Okay, so 135. Okay, what they're asking is you are given the first three entities of the arithmetic progression, you have to calculate the common difference. So I can take a common difference. Okay, so I did it as b minus a and it gave me the answer. Let's check whether the answer is right or wrong. So what I will do, I'll go copy this. Okay, click over here, this window opens. Click on the custom input, paste it over here, right? Click on execute. So kindly remember that this is just a demonstration of Coding Ninja. You are supposed to solve all the solutions. I'll be giving you the hints. You're supposed to solve it in the 10:30 to 12 session. In extreme case, when most of the students are not in a position to solve it, that question will be solved to you. Otherwise, these solutions have to be done with you and I'll be monitoring your progress. You get a right answer. Is there any other custom input? No. So we can click on the submit solution. If you click on the submit solution, are you getting the correct answer? Yes. Okay. Let's try to understand this rectangle area. Kindly go through the question. Again, 3 minutes for you to understand the question. Okay, so what it says, you are given a rectangle in a plane, the corner coordinates of the rectangle are provided to you. So this is the first statement you have to understand. The corner coordinates of the rectangle are provided to you. That means it will be in the form of, let's check, x1 y1 x2 y2 or x1 x2 y1 y2. Let's see the sample input. You have to print what they're asking. You have to print the amount of area of the plane covered. Okay, we have to find the area. The end coordinates are provided as four integral value x1 y1 x2 y2. Okay, it is x1 y2 x1 y1 x2 y2. Further they are saying that x1 will always be less than x2, y1 will always be less than y2. Okay, any other constraint they are saying, x1 minimum value will be 1, maximum value will be 10, y1 will be 1 to 10, x2 will be 1 to 10, y2 will be 1 to 10. Okay, let's see the sample input 1133. What does it mean 1133? This is x1, this is y1. What is 3 and 3? This is x2, this is y2. And what they are saying is, if this is given to you, what you are supposed to do? You're supposed to print the amount of area. You're supposed to print the amount of area. Clear? So first step, you have to figure it out. What is the input? x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay. And then this is the formula for area. x2 minus x1 into y2 minus y1. Okay. This you will have to figure it out how to do it. And then print the area. And then print the area. Let's take this input. Click on this. So once I click on this, what should happen? You should get the answer as 4. You should get the answer as 4. And then click on the submit solution and see whether the answer is right or wrong. Yes, the answer is right. All the test cases are solved. Okay. So point number 1 today, once this class is over and whenever you have the free time, kindly go through and complete this module 1 of the Coding Ninja. Okay. Those who have access to it. This one, flowchart. Click on the topics, go over here and click on this flowchart. Okay. Flowchart is about drawing this particular diagram. So I want you to, you must have already done it in the school. In case you haven't done it, no problems. I want you to go through this particular flowchart. Once everyone has access to the Coding Ninja, I will explain this CN. Clear? Yes, if you have any questions, you can raise it now. Otherwise, if you don't have any questions, you can leave right now. If you have any questions, you can type it in the chat window. In case you do not have any questions, you can leave. The class is over. The question, Madhu, that I raised was something like this. Is Coding Ninja visible to you? Is the course visible to you? And is the course visible under 144, 155, 123 or your 156 batch? Under which batch it was visible? You don't have to worry. The list is already given. They're working on it regarding the Coding Ninja. I'm already coordinating with them regarding the access to Coding Ninja. We never tell the solution, Sanchit. We only tell you the steps required to find LCM and HCF. You are supposed to do it. Yes, then in that case, let me note down your name under 145. If you look at, if you look over here under the topics, what I have done, we have discussed introduction to Python. Yes or no? So tomorrow we'll be discussing conditional and loops. And once it is over, once this is over, then we'll be going to your HCF and LCM. Okay, tomorrow we'll discuss this, then we'll be discussing this pattern. Chakshita, till the time 156 is not visible, kindly go ahead, continue with 144, no issues. If some other batch, if the Python course is visible to you, kindly complete it. Okay, till the time you don't get 156. Okay, don't wait. Sir, can we do it on your own? Of course, you can do it on your own, no issues. Anand, plus go to the web and tell me the maths concept of LCM and HCF. Okay, once you know it, then the code will be easy. Okay, Amberjan, you are making the progress in HCF and LCM, but sometimes you are taking only max IS. Okay, that I'll be explaining it. If you look at your schedule over here, if you look at the schedule, I guess today you have an extra class at 2:30 to 3:30. Okay, this class will be explicitly for the students who have missed out most of the classes. So those students who have missed out most of the classes, you can join at 2:30 to 3:30. Kindly pay attention. There won't be an extra class at 7 o'clock today. I'll be taking the classes 2:30 to 3:30. The new students who have joined can join at 2:30 to 3:30. This is a remedial class. This has been shared with you. Okay, the new students who have joined, kindly join me using this particular link at 2:30 to 3:30. Amrit Jot and others, LCM and HCF, wait for one day. If you're not in a position to solve it, then I'll discuss a solution with you. Okay, so the students who have joined late, kindly join me at 2:30 to 3:30 today using the link which has been provided to you. Any other questions? No? Let's wind up the session.